Is Age of Empires Mobile still worth playing for free-to-play players in 2026? Or are you just wasting your time trying to keep up with players who will always be stronger than you? Because right now a lot of players are quietly asking that question and not getting honest answer. And this matters because if you're investing time into long-term strategy game like Age of Empires Mobile, you need to know if that time actually leads somewhere, or if you're slowly falling behind in a way that you can never realistically recover from. Let's start with the reality that most free-to-play players feel, but don't always say out loud. You log in, you check the map, and you immediately see one or two alliances controlling everything. Objectives, territory, fights, and you already know how the day is going to be before you even move your first march. And this is where the first frustration comes in, because it's not just about losing fights, it's about feeling like the outcome is already decided. You can play well, you can optimize, you can be active and still feel like you're not actually influencing anything. But here is the problem with stopping the analysis here. A lot of players see that situation and immediately say, okay, the game is not worth for free-to-play player. And that sounds logical, but it's also incomplete. Because the real question is not whether whales exist. The real question is how much space doesn't the game still give you to matter. This is where everything starts to shift, because Age of Empires Mobile is not just a PvP game. It's a progression game, an alliance game, a timing game, a decision-making game layered on top of each other. And if you only measure your value by whatever you can beat a stronger account in a direct fight, you're already measuring yourself in the one area where free-to-play is naturally weaker. Let me give you a real scenario. You take your march into a fight and engage, and you get wiped almost instantly by a stronger player. And that moment feels terrible. It feels like your efforts didn't matter. But here's the part nobody talks about. That fight was never meant to be equal. And once you understand that, you stop asking the wrong question. Instead of asking why I can win this fight, you start asking where can my account actually create a value. Because in Age of Empires Mobile, value doesn't not only come from winning direct fights. Now let's talk about the progression, because this is one of the biggest concerns for free-to-play players in 2026. The gap between players can feel massive, especially when you compare yourself to high spenders or early domination accounts. And that's a real progression layers, troops, heroes, gear, research, alliance bonuses, all stuck together. But here's the important distinction. A large gap does not automatically mean meaningless experience. It means that the game shifts from direct competition to smart positioning. This is the part nobody explains properly. Free-to-play players are not meant to dominate the battlefield alone. They are meant to operate within a system, alliance, coordination, timing, and efficiency. So they can play like a sole competitor, the game feels unfair. So when you play like a sole, it's feel unfair. When you play like a system player, the game starts making sense. Now let's connect these two alliances, because this is where most free-to-play player experience are decided. You join an alliance, and if that alliance is too strong, you might feel irrelevant. If it's too weak, you may feel stuck. And this is where a lot of players quietly losing motivation. Not because the game is bad, but because their environment is wrong. Let me hook you here. Some players think free-to-play player frustration comes from the game itself. But here's the problem. A huge part of the frustration actually comes from being in the wrong alliance environment. If your alliance stops showing up, stop coordinating, stop caring, your experience collapses. Even if your account is improving. If your alliance is too dominant, your experience becomes passive. Even if you're getting the rewards. So free-to-play player enjoyment is not just about the balance, it's about participation. This changes how you should see the system, because the real question is not can free-to-play player compete with whales. The real question is can free-to-play players can stay relevant inside this system. And the answer to that is yes. But only if you play the game the right way. Now let's talk about one of the biggest fears players are having in 2026. Falling behind permanently, because this is what kills motivation more than anything. You feel like no matter what you do, you always be behind somebody who started earlier or spent more. And this is something that happened to me. Right now I'm making this from 20 million to 40 million in 3 months. I'm trying to do that. And still, I know I'm going to feel behind. I know there's going to be people who is completely free-to-play players, who is going to be very far in progress from me. But still, I decide, I have my inner motivation, and what motivates me is little different. I have my motivation to continue, but at the end of the day, for some people, it may not be so cool to walk in after 8 months and try to, having still this motivation when the players who was a rival to you right now is very ahead of you. And that feeling is particularly true, but also misleading. Because progression in Age of Empires Mobile is not linear. There are phases where growth accelerate, phases where it's slow, and moments where decisions matter more than the raw stats. And this is where experienced free-to-play players separate themselves. They stop chasing players they cannot catch. It's absolutely normal to not be able to be same power like a whale. This is just normal things. And they start optimizing what they really actually can control: resource usage, event timing, alliance positioning, and smart upgrades. Keep in mind, this is where the free-to-play players shine the most. And you have this evolutional pressure, I call it like evolutional pressure, on you, where you're playing that you just have to be more smart from rest of the people. This is going to help you not only in the game, in many situations. You're going to start work somewhere and you may feel, behind when you join some place, and you have to be smart and be very fast in adaptation. This is the most important thing. Adaptations and what you can actually can control. Let me give you another scenario. Two free-to-play players start the game at the same time. One joins the strongest alliance, does everything passively, and slowly loses interest. The other one joins a slightly weaker but active alliance, participate in everything, learn the system, and become one of the core members. After a few months, the second player is enjoying the game more, even if their raw power is slower. Even that your power is not that big like the person who is in the stronger alliance, because let's be fair, stronger alliance is going to provide you with so much rewards, so much first places. There's going to be people buying bundles inside, and you're going to get all the rewards there, and your account is going to become more and more stronger. And on the other side is sitting somebody else who is not having this opportunity, but in the same time, he's enough smart and strong so people can start counting on him. Maybe he can lead some rallies. Maybe he can lead some open field. Maybe he's going to be one of the core members, as we said. It's just different experience. But at the end of the day, it's true. The first one is going to get just more rewards and is going to have better progression if they're both in same activity. And this is the part nobody wants to admit. Enjoyment and power are not the same thing. Now let's talk about dead servers, because this is another bit concerns. You log in and it feels quiet, less activity, less competition, less tension, and immediately you think, okay, this game is dying. But here's the problem with that conclusion. A quiet server doesn't not always mean a dead game. It often mean transition phase, or just the game or the kingdom is full with players who is actually going at work, or they are in the same time zone. For example, some let's say some Europe alliance get built there where like 95% from the players are from Europe. Well, if it's like 4 a.m. in the Europe, you're not going to see many people. So it can be also same time zone alliances and kingdoms. But still, this does not mean the game is dead. Definitely, because Age of Empires Mobile operates in the cycles: early dominance, mid-game slowdown, migration, and restructuring, new competition. If you only look at one phase, you misjudge the entire system. And this is where a lot of free-to-play players quietly quit too early. They experience a slow phase and assume that is final state of the game. But in reality, that's often just the setup for the next shift, especially when the mergers are happening right now in Age of Empires Mobile. Let me rehook you again. This game doesn't end when your server slows down. It opens when it resets. Now let's talk about matchmaking and events, because this is where free-to-play players can still feel the game heavily. If every event feels impossible, that's a problem. If every event feels irrelevant, that's also a problem. So this is something that I'm saying in my videos over and over again. If you want to compete as a free-to-play player, most likely you have to skip 1 or 2 events till you gather enough resources, so when you participate in the event to be still meaningful and you actually hit some higher positioning and get better rewards. Because if you're joining in every event, you spend everything, you not rank anywhere, you just only lose your resources. And at the end of the day, for me personally, I have been waiting 8 months preparing and gathering resources for a single event, and I end up on place number 2. 8 months waiting. This don't mean don't enjoy the game, but sometimes you have to be smart with your resources to achieve and grab one of the best rewards in the game. But when events feels competitive, even if you're not first, you feel engaged. You feel like your decision matter. You feel like your effort translate into something real. And that is the sweet spot. And that's why save. Be clever with your resources. So in Age of Empires Mobile worth playing for free-to-play player in 2026, here's my honest answer. It depends on how you approach the game. If you're expected to dominate players who invest heavily, you will be frustrated. If you measure your success only by power ranking, you will burn out. If you play without understanding system, you will feel lost. But if you play for progression, participation, and smart decision making, the game still offers a meaningful experience. So let's go back to the real question. Is Age of Empires Mobile worth it for free-to-play players? Yes, but not in the way most players expect it. It's not about beating everybody. It's about staying relevant, making smart choices, and finding an environment where your action actually matter. You have to feel this value inside you, that when you walk in, the alliance is actually counting on you. And as already mentioned, if you're with whales, well, nobody care are you going to go online or offline. There's like 10 or maybe 20, sometimes 30 players who is the main blade of the alliance. Rest of the people is like nobody care. Sometimes it's like this. But if you're in the very nice alliance where people are counting on you, and by walking you start fighting, and you start seeing how slowly the things shift just because you're present on the battlefield, is absolutely great feeling. I have felt this so much time, and to be fair, this is one of the best feelings that you can have in Age of Empires Mobile. So yeah guys, if you go that far in this video, let me know in the comments below your personal opinion. Is Age of Empires Mobile worth for free-to-play players in 2026? My personal opinion, as I already mentioned, is yes, the game is very nice one. Just there is some difference from the expectations the players are having and what can actually happen. I mean, you cannot beat high spender with as a free-to-play player, no matter how smart you want to go. But still, the game is built the way that everybody get their fun if they understand what they're actually doing. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like. Here I'm going to put one video that it can be interesting for you. I wish you a great day, and see you in the next video.